Okay, so, hi everyone, how you doing? So every February, I do a redraw of this Power of 3 drawing. Yeah, so that's what this is today. It's a drawing of Jay Feather, Lionblaze, and Hollyleaf, just looking snazzy. Here's the one from last year, and this is the one from 2 years ago. So apparently Young Me just forgot shading existed, so that was fun. Yeah, there's shading in this one because I am no longer an incapable rat. Yeah, anyway, so I figured since, this is a drawing of Jay Feather, Lionblaze, and Hollyleaf, I figured, why not talk about Jay Feather, Lionblaze, and Hollyleaf? Yeah. So, let's start off with Jay Feather because he is amazing. So yeah, I love Jay Feather. He's a cranky... He started off as a cranky teenager, in the Power of 3, and evolved into a cranky old man in, the Broken Code arc, which, I love that so much. Jay Feather's just a cranky boy with a stick. I cannot express how much I love him. His entire character arc was, pretty cool. So, starting off, angsty Jay Feather is just sitting there, being like, I hate being blind, and it made sense that he didn't want to be a medicine cat, considering, he was kind of being forced into the role. Everyone was telling him he was incapable of becoming a warrior, and I can 100% see how that would upset him. Like, if someone told me I couldn't do something, and I should do something else, then hell yeah, I'd be upset about it. So it makes sense that Jay Feather's being very bitter towards his clanmates about all of this. Next, let's talk about how he reacted to finding out Leafpool was his mother, because, that's a big plot point, and I think that's something that we should talk about. So Jay Feather was, he was upset about the whole thing. That is reasonable. He just found out everything, his entire life, everything he thought was real was a lie. He figured out that Squirrelflight wasn't his mom, and that his mentor was. That is... I can understand his emotions there. His feelings are valid. I also love how, throughout the rest of Jay Feather's life, and heck, even up to Leafpool's death, I love how the errands showed Jay Feather, how Jay Feather's feelings changed towards her. At first, he was, bitter and upset, and, clearly didn't care about her much. However, as time went on, as we've seen through, Omen of the Stars and Division of Shadows, we can see Jay Feather, warming up to Leafpool and kind of accepting everything that happened, and even putting it behind him when Leafpool's death occurs. I know the TL chat's probably screaming at me because I accidentally spoiled that once. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, Jay Feather's character arc with Leafpool is honestly pretty well written. And, it fits with his character well, so that's always good. Moving on, let's talk about Jay Feather's whole deal with Rock. Now, I don't like Rock. The whole thing with the ancient tribe and Jay Feather time traveling seemed kind of unnecessary. I think the main reason the Errands did it is because they wanted to introduce him to Half Moon, so that, people at the time wanted Jay Feather to have a love interest, and I think they just decided, oh, well, screw that, time travel. So, I don't know. The whole thing with the Ancients just doesn't sit right with me. Nothing against, Dawn of the Clans. That whole arc was amazing, and I need to make a video on that at one point. I'm specifically talking about Jay Feather's deal with the Ancients. Not saying adding Rock was a bad idea and having Jay Feather interact with Fallen Leaves. That was fine. However, the time travel bit with the stick. I did not like that at all. The stick, though, it was pretty cool. It kind of sucks that Jay Feather broke it. Are Jay Feather X stick jokes dead now? They've been dead for a while, haven't they? Anyway, moving back to Rock, I don't like him at all. He had his whole speech about, oh yes, it's the clan's fault for remembering the people who they literally had to fight, I don't like that. Jayfeather had a reasonable reaction to Rock's stupid speech, honestly. Anyway, moving on. Lion Blaze. Yeah, he had boring chapters. However, you cannot say that Lion Blaze's whole story was not interesting. Like, at first, just reading through everything, you can kind of get bored of Lion Blaze and just dread reading his chapters. But I did watch the Little Lion Blaze, multi-animators project, and it made me see Lion Blaze in a whole different light. Like, I seriously cannot explain how much my feelings for this guy have changed. His character arc starts off as, he's, as a lot of ThunderClan apprentices are, being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a warrior, I'm gonna be cool, and all that stuff. And then he finds out that he's the one in the prophecy, and he's like, oh! And then he slowly realizes, he kind of just learns to appreciate things that he didn't before. And also, in the case of the honey scene, if you know which one I'm talking about, he learns that there are some things that he just can't really enjoy anymore, even though he had, no reason not to go and eat honey with the other apprentices. Dude, what the heck? Yeah. His reaction to the whole leaf pool thing was also pretty cool. It was fairly well written as well. You can see how he's, angry at Leaf Pool, and, heck, angry at Crowfeather, too. Heck, he's even mad at Breezepelt, who didn't really have much to do with this whole thing. Speaking of Crowfeather and Breezepelt, I do like how, in Crowfeather's trial, I believe that was, how Crowfeather and, how Crowfeather kind of apologized to Jayfeather and Lion Blaze. And, Jayfeather denied the apology, which I thought was pretty cool, while Lion Blaze accepted it and kind of came to terms with everything. Moving on, Hollyleaf. Hollyleaf is, by far one of my most favorite characters in the Warrior series, and I know some people hate her, but I personally cannot. I adore all of her character arcs, and her deal with the Warrior Code, and heck, even her small villain character arc, was just amazing, and extremely well written. And oh my god, Hollyleaf. Her reaction to the whole leaf pool thing. She literally tried to feed her mother death berries because she couldn't live with the fact that her mother had broken the Warrior Code and that she wasn't even supposed to exist. She's very reasonably upset, and she goes and takes action into her own paws, which I love that. Ashfur's death, too, with Hollyleaf, was, once again, well written and justified, I guess. I just justified murder, holy crap. No, you know what I mean. Her motivations made sense, that's what I mean. And, heck, Hollyleaf, from the beginning, has always been a strong follower of the Warrior Code. For example, that time where Jayfeather and Lion Blaze decided that breaking the code was necessary, and she protested against it, saying that it wasn't right. However, her brothers were able to convince her to go along with their stupid schemes anyway, and, I believe it is brought up a bunch of other times that Hollyleaf does feel guilty about breaking the code. Every time that it happens, she does feel guilty about her actions. And figuring out that you technically were the result of breaking the Warrior Code, that can, if you're that dedicated to the code, then yeah, that could totally leave a mark on you. Especially with the fact that not only was she a half-clan kid between a Wind Clan warrior, but also the daughter of a ThunderClan medicine cat, which is breaking the code within itself. In conclusion, I love these three so much. Lion Blaze a little less, but he's definitely grown on me. I do feel like their powers suited the three of them fairly well. Jayfeather being the blind one who's able to see, that is very wow. I can English goodly. As for Lion Blaze being the strong one, making him be it just makes sense with Lion Blaze. And Hollyleaf not having a power was an amazing twist. Oh my god. Anyway, we're at the end of the video now. So I hope you enjoyed me rambling on about warrior cats, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!